right, so you see all this beautiful light here in the beginning, and then you get exposed to some things by the end of the month. Yes, it is your birthday month, and yes, that could feel or seem like a very weird thing, but life doesn't stop happening, and what you're going to be exposed to might make you uncomfortable, but it's for the better because it helps you cut that fat. It helps you realize that whatever view you had taken at one point, maybe a few years ago even, it's now clouding your judgment. And if there is, again, this Leo coming up very strongly, if there is a Leo in your life, that relationship isn't bad. However, it's showing you where you may have been held back. It shows you where it can be important to be stubborn, where it can be important to hold yourself accountable for yourself, but also reveals to you that you may want something different. You may want something new. You may want to change. You have this Tower moment isn't actually bad for you. It could be bad for the person involved. It could be this Leo. Or it could be someone that you're involved with financially, creatively, where you want to take some charge and some direction in some type of way. You're coming back to yourself. So this situation is going to help you become more of who you are, more of who you want to be, more of a person who can hold their own authentically, but at the same time with purpose. But at the same time, you can talk about it. You can, move on from things. Something may have happened in the past where maybe you guys had a similar outlook and now it's just not the same. And what you're seeing for yourself is different. You're being guided to be more authentic in a way that brings this divine purpose. You may not expect the situation to go in that direction, but when it does, and you may feel like you may almost realize, like, I feel better. Why should I feel upset about this? I feel better. Why should I feel anything else but good? Anything else but wanting to talk about what's important to you, wanting to share, wanting to connect with people. Mars is in Cancer right now, and that could really bring you, if you are a Aries rising, then Mars will be in your 3rd house, and that is partially a communicative house. So you may find that this time right now is an important time, sorry for the long pause, is an important time for who you're becoming. So this, I know it's going into the future a little bit more, but right now you have this chance where it feels almost like you could either stay stuck, and that would be easy, or you can take a vulnerable look at this and be honest with yourself. And be clear with yourself. There may be an Aquarius or Cancer in your life who have a lot of good things to say to you, who have a lot of productive things to say to you about what's happening, about what you may need to hear. Because unfortunately, that other situation is just not getting anywhere. You constantly are revealed that and are having maybe these big dramatic moments, and you're like, I kind of just don't want to do this anymore. So if you're clearing out any of those dramatic moments, you might have more until they're done. But at least you know what you want by the end of it. At least what you want for yourself in life. This doesn't just have to be in work. This is about what you really see for yourself. Without doubting yourself. Because you wouldn't think Aries doubts themselves, but you can. You have... Like anyone else, you can have that tendency. But by the end of the month, and at that eclipse, on the 20th, hey, it'll become very obvious to you what's really important, what really matters, how you can, and then asking yourself those, okay, the next set of questions. Now you've been adamant on not just doing things out of adrenaline or anything out of in a rash way like you once were. You now see very clearly, right? Could have been even a lingering from Capricorn season. You now see very clearly, you know, what needs to be cut out. What part of your behavior first, and then externally. Now, I said first, but which one comes first is important. I just think that if the internal comes first, it'll be less dramatic on your end, because you realize that you've taken on maybe certain narratives that aren't yours, and now they're starting to cause this internal disruption between what you really want or what you're going towards or what you've been looking for, and you're saying enough. You're taking some time to yourself, and you realize it's good for you. That maybe you plan a couple months to create or do whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself on a shifted plan. Right? So I do think a lot's going to shift between your dynamics this month. I think the Libra full moon starts it, and hopefully with yourself, because then it's less explosive, it's less dramatic. What do I mean by that? Yes, if that stuff needs to come out, that's fine, but when the emotional system is disruptive, we have a tendency to get sick or do things out of our character now. I'm not saying it would be out of character maybe years ago for you, but now it would be. And why go there if you don't have to? It's a vulnerable time. It's a time where and it's a time of grieving. What perfect time to do it in Taurus season, when you can have slow assuredness. This may all happen fast, unfortunately. But the time you get to spend after with yourself, understanding why certain things have been lost, maybe even for a while, and what's actually the important move forward. And Mercury is going to help you with that. Mercury will say that in all fairness, Mercury or Magician in Justice will say in all fairness, you can create from this. You have learned from this. This isn't going to this isn't going to last forever. This is you realizing that certain parts of your thinking, maybe beliefs, have gotten in the way of what you really are going for, who you really are, and what is needed from you now moving forward. So I'd say that in all fairness, the karma will turn. As long as you let yourself go through it and give yourself some time. All of this that happens, whether seemingly big or not, feels big and has cause for contemplation. So going into the next month, you'll have cause for it, and then we'll have Mercury retrograde in Taurus. So what a great time to let everything mull over. Yet at the same time, taking that vulnerable action, trusting your process to grieve, and knowing that at the other end of things, it's already okay. You know, for Aries that live more in the future than in the present, reminding yourself that it's already okay can bring you back to the present in a way that's really good for you. That could be for anyone, but I think for you, it could be extremely helpful. Because grieving from anything, whether it's deceit, lies, or an actual mutual thing, right? Or, you know, and on from there can be justice for yourself. There can be a moment where you have the sureness that this was supposed to happen in this way. Or even if it wasn't supposed to, it did. And on the other end of things, it looks different. I look different. I am different. The month of I am. The month of the head. Aries rules the head. The ego. Cutting the fat on the ego and where it's disrupting instead of helping. Because the ego is important, but not to live by it consistently. Because there's no solid ground with the ego. All right, Aries. You are strong and you are brave and you got this. Happy birthday, and we'll see you next month.